in early childhood education in 1997 and family literacy in 2004. On the side of all these activities, it is evident that parents in many Nigerian homes are operating under very difficult conditions. We must be aware that majority of parents may be currently unemployed, underemployed, lack job security, receive irregular salaries, heavily pressurized, unpaid and irregularly paid pensioners, untimely retired, frustrated, may be victims of geographic mobility of labor, may be too busy with economic activities, and may generally be poor with large families. The resultant effect of all this is the neglect of the Nigerian child or abandonment of the child. Now we have question. The Nigerian child is he at risk? And we say that in Nigeria today, violence has been on the increase. The manifestation of aggressive tendency and violence is quite disturbing. Early childhood educators are worried about the sudden eruption of violence in our children and wonder about the latent potentials of the children to develop into volatile and aggressive views. If truly early childhood education is foundational, one wonders on the amount and quality of groundwork done in the early years that have resulted in the production of these violent citizens. A study I conducted and presented at the World Forum on Early Childhood Education in Australia in 2007 examined the sources of violence among Nigerian children in relation to the child support system in the early years. The results show that 93.5% of the respondents indicted the parents for the spate of violence in their children, and that some children often received mixed and conflicting signals about right and wrong behaviors from their parents, caregivers, and adults. A child is more likely to grow to become non-violent and non-aggressive if the home and caregiving environments are peaceful, loving, caring, and consistent and in harmony. What have been my involvement in the field of early childhood education? After obtaining the Modern 3 Living Certificate and biology, because my brother, Mr. G. Oniboji, was confident that I would be a medical doctor. However, in my upper science, I changed to upper arts without his knowledge. It was when his friend, Mr. Fatide, came to congratulate him on my HSC result that he became aware of the change. I got admission to read education at the University of Ibadan. In one of the orientation programs, I watched a production of one of Wole Soyinka's play, Child International. I was rudely shocked to hear a preschooler on set saying, "Daddy, don't be stupid." To my consternation, the same child also stretched out his hand for a warm handshake with his grandfather. To me, this was an abomination. The scene disturbed me and many questions agitated my mind. Was preschool education a means of cultural alienation? So, when I had an opportunity to do a master program in early childhood education, I sought to know what it was that actually motivated Nigerian parents to send their children to preschool institutions. My master's thesis, therefore, examined the attitudes of parents and teachers towards the objectives of preschool education in Lagos State. From the study, it was found that majority of the parents and teachers were preoccupied with the speed at which their children acquire and master formal academic skills of reading, writing, number work, and of course speaking English. This concern for early academic discipline resulted in intensive mental drills and memorization featuring prominently in the preschool classrooms. Early childhood educators and philosophers have child teacher, spontaneous play situations which promote learning were being utilized for structured lessons. Since preschool children in a learning situation are seen as learners who must do, test, explore, describe, talk about, and say, the concern therefore was on finding ways of helping the child to acquire meaningful experiences. For my PhD, therefore, I examined the use of socio-dramatic play technique in teaching verbal and numerical problem solving in the nursery schools. The study made it clear that the very nature of socio-dramatic play, which included the children's ability to select, talk about, compare, describe activities, imitate roles, make believe in actions and situations, and also communicate, was able to generate children's interest in learning. The study succeeded in encouraging preschool teachers to create learning corners such as home, market, nature, health center, stocked with locally found materials in their classrooms. In 1987, my desire to know more about the practice of early childhood education took me to Germany, where how to use materials, that is, teachables from trashables. Because one of the reasons why early childhood education is being patronized by few people selected, the privileged ones, is because of the cost. A lot of the materials are imported. But if you want to widen the scope, then try and reduce cost. However, not giving up the cost for quality. So I went to Jamaica to learn about teachables from trashables, and as a result we were able to create resource center for a cluster of schools that benefited. And in 1994, I developed a module for caregiver training. This was to ensure that these caregivers who have not received any formal learning or teaching in the field of early childhood education acquire some knowledge. In 1994, I founded the first intellectually challenging association in the field of early childhood education. That association is ECAN, Early Childhood Association of Nigeria. As a matter of fact, in November 2011, we held an international conference where people from America, South Africa, and other parts of Africa attended. And it was held here at the University of Lagos. Then I had a journal, we called JECA, Journal of Early Childhood Association of Nigeria, and we have produced about 4 volumes now. Between 1996 and 1998, the Nigerian Education Trust is a philanthropic organization whose main concern is to provide services in the neglected areas of educational development, meeting particularly the needs of the disadvantaged through innovative programs with multiplier effect. I was able to design and implement a lot of projects on Mother is the First Teacher. The Mother is the First Teacher project is a project that enlightens mothers and mothers to be on their roles as teachers of their children. The trust has developed 3 primers in the Nigerian language. Ìyá teacher in Yoruba, Uwa Kalabata in Hausa, Nne Onye. The areas of focus in the book were the language, socialization, physical and healthy development of the child from birth to age 5. We produce radio jingles, posters, drama, TV programs, just to send in the message in the project. The trust was also involved in care of the handicapped. Then we set up training programs for home-based caregivers, and we cooperated with other interested bodies. Now, please let us go through some of these activities in future. That was me in a Pestalozzi Prof house. In Nigeria, you see the teacher. The teacher is a figure in the early child education classroom, but in Pestalozzi, the teacher is a member of the group. It doesn't hold a thing, and then it is the child that will determine what he wants you to do. That is me again. We do not sit the child down and teach specific skills. So the child can learn anything from any aspect of the home. So that is the kind of room. Now, playing, quiet corner, where the child can to learn about teachables from trashables. Some of the things now, all these are materials that we have found and which we develop. We utilize those materials to come up with all this. That's another thing. They are all teachables from trashables. 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 And the children are only interested in playing with material. It's not how expensive the material is that is of concern to them. Teachables from trashables. Teachables from trashables. And in 2007, I was invited in Malaysia to come and demonstrate how to use the social dramatic play technique. And that was what I was doing at that picture. Now this is Canada. And why I show this one is because of this other side. You see, these are the parents. They just don't bring their children and go back. They have to stay with the children so that there will be continuity between what the school does and what the home also does with the child. So the parents are there, they are part of it. They don't drop their children and go away. And that is the typical. Now, I said I did extensive. I don't even know whether I see loan to Bandia, because we have done a lot of work with Bandia, and this is Bandia training. That is another training. This one was in Imo State, and then the Uwama Lamadanta is the book in 3 sets, book 1, book 2, book 3. So that is the young teacher, the version of it. That is the million we say. And then the things that we developed for the parents who may not be literate enough, we want to send in that particular message that they should do some things with their children. How do you show love to your child? How do you play with the child? Now another Bandia training. Now, what have been my specific contributions to the field of early childhood education? I have written modules. In fact, all the activities on early childhood education that were carried out by UNICEF, I actively participated.